Well, hey there, team. This is podcast number 1083 for me. It's the 10th of September 2021, and you are listening to episode 504 of the Running Podcast. Well, hey there, team, and welcome on to this episode of the Running Podcast, podcasting since 2007 and heard right across this little blue bubble. I am your host, Coach Jeff. Today I chat with you from out there in the shed on the treadmill as I continue to not train, just 24 hours out from Project PB 400. Please check out all of our content over there on coachjeff.com.au. Use the category search function when you get there to find what you're looking for. Subscribe to the Coach Jeff podcast. That way you won't miss any of the shows that I put out. But if you just want the running stuff, then stay right here on the Running Podcast. Don't forget the Coach Jeff Archives podcast. That's where you can find all those old shows prior to show number 250. Check out my book, Running for Donuts. You can find that at runningfordonuts.net. And for Aussie customers only at the moment, check out thenaturalbodyshop.coachjeff.com.au. And on the back of all those coms and AUs and .nets and whatever, that's enough. Let's slide out through the kitchen, into the shed, jump on the treadmill, and hear from the coach. Well, good morning, team, and welcome out here to the shed and the treadmill on what is another absolutely brilliant looking day here in Brisbane as we head towards the inevitable running of Project PB 400. But just don't say it too loud. Brilliant day here this morning. Blue sky, sunshine, and still cool of a morning, but the days are warming up nicely. Like I say, as we get towards the very end of winter and into spring. Got the back door of the shed shut this morning. They're out mowing the school oval grass area with a pretty noisy mower, so it's early in the morning, so we'll leave the door down and let them get on with their work without subjecting you to that. So here we are now, just 24 hours away from the running of Project PB 400. For those new people that have asked since yesterday's show what's it all about, well, it's my attempt to set a new PB, as we can hear my friend the butcher bird outside. My attempt to run a new PB for 400 metres barefoot around a grass oval, in a nutshell. So, actually, quite a few emails in the last couple of weeks. A couple of things, people asking about the oval, asking about the butcher bird, which is a grey butcher bird that you hear outside the shed. Might talk more about that on another running podcast. But one thing I wanted to quickly address, I had an email yesterday morning after I put out yesterday's show. Sorry, I had an email yesterday after yesterday morning's show that I put out talking about Project PB and how I didn't taper into events, and I trained right up to them, and had an email questioning the wisdom of that. And let me say, it's something we've done for a long time. I don't suggest that brand new people train extremely hard up to an event. It's something you need to develop over a long period of time. You have to understand, we developed that under the guidance of my old coach when we were doing a lot of triathlon as part of the Athlete's Foot triathlon team. And like I say, I often talk about back in the day where I never finished off the podium in over 5 years of racing, and it was under that system that those results were produced. And it was something that we would do all the time, and consequently doing it all the time and practicing that way of training all the time, we became very good at it. Now, it doesn't mean that it will work for you, but it definitely works for myself and my athletes. So appreciate the concern, but we'll be doing some speed work again here this morning. And as I say, tomorrow morning we will be running Project PB 400. We're going to warm up in here on the treadmill, do some run-throughs, and a little bit of speed work here. Then jog up to the track or the oval, run a few laps up there, and then bust out what will be a new world record for running barefoot around an oval. I don't think so. But yeah, it's like anything. You have to, any sort of system you have or any way of training or racing, it needs to be developed and practiced over a long period of time. But I will suggest to you, get in touch if you want to. I'm happy to help walk you through it, but maybe you might want to try that if you've been training, racing for a long period of time, feel like you need a bit of a change up. Well, do what I do. Take your taper and your rest, you know, a fair way out from the event, and then train into the event and hit the event at full steam. It just becomes another day in a training block, maybe even the final day in a training block, and see if it can change things up for you. You know, same as we used to have these extremely hard run-ins to events, race the event like madmen, and we would always train the next couple of days as we trained our way out of that very hard effort. You know, always the day after marathons or hard triathlon events, we would go out the next morning, have a light ride, light run, light swim, keep the body moving for a couple of days. It makes a huge difference to your recovery. But anyway, we're getting away from talking about Project PB 400. We just better not talk too much more about it because the treadmill will hear us and bite me in the calf. Alright, I'll see you back here bright and early tomorrow morning as we run Project PB 400. This is the coach saying bye-bye for now.
I don't take my feet out into the street. I don't go out anymore. I got my own four walls, so I don't see the call to step outside of my front door. What's the story about? I say, who took all my horizons away? Must we live in these corridors of stone? If we give them time, we make stone of a song. I said my goodbyes to when I cast my eyes out where the skyline meets the land. Now all I can see are walls in front of me. My eyes reach no further than my hand. What's the story about? I say, took all my horizons away. Must we live in these corridors of stone? If we give them time, we may stone of a star. Gets me down the way this town is closing in on me, agitated and suffocated. I need to breathe. So we spend our days inside this concrete maze, wherever we may roam. No sense of room and space. Instead, now in its place, all my horizons away. Must we live in these corridors of stone? If we give them time, the millstone of us all. If we give them time, the millstone of us all.
Alrighty team, that'll just about wrap us up for this edition of the Running Podcast, and once again thank you for joining me out there in the shed on the treadmill. It was pretty crowded there this morning, but always a great time, and I super appreciate it. Alright, not too much banging on from the desk this morning. I'll look forward to seeing you back here bright and early tomorrow morning as we put it all together and we run Project PB 400, one lap of the oval, at scintillating speeds like you wouldn't believe, but it'll be good fun. All right, enough of me banging away. Please remember what the coach has always said: train to race and race to win, but make sure you're having a heap of fun along the way. Until we see you on the very next episode of the Running Podcast, and maybe see you out on the roads or the trails or the oval somewhere, this is the coach saying bye-bye for now.